Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you truly locked in on you? Not what they're doing, not what they're posting, not how far ahead they look. Yeah. See, we live in a world that's loud with distractions. Everywhere you look, someone's flexing a lifestyle, chasing attention, and showing you their highlight reel like it's the whole story. And if you're not careful, you'll get caught slipping. Not because you're not grinding, but because your focus is fractured. You start measuring your value by someone else's progress. You start questioning your time and doubting your path, forgetting your own power. And that's how people lose themselves. You weren't built to copy. You weren't built to compete with noise. You were built to create, to lead, to evolve. But none of that happens if your eyes are always somewhere else. This journey is personal. Your growth, your healing, your legacy, it all begins when you turn inward and decide, I'm done watching, I'm done comparing, I'm done drifting. From here on out, it's focus on me. Let them do what they do. You've got something bigger to build. And it starts with this mindset right here. When you compare yourself to others, you disconnect from your own journey. It might seem harmless. Maybe you're just checking someone's feed, seeing how far they've come, watching how they dress, what they drive, who they with, or how much they've accomplished. But little by little, that habit becomes a quiet thief. It sneaks in and starts shifting your focus. One moment you are motivated, hungry, grinding toward your goals. Then suddenly you're questioning if you're doing enough, if you're moving fast enough, or if you're even on the right path at all. That seed of doubt was planted by comparison. The issue with comparing your life to someone else's is that you're measuring two stories that were never meant to be the same. You don't know their full picture. You don't know what they sacrificed, what they're battling, or what mask they might be wearing. Social media especially shows you a highlight reel, never the behind the scenes. People post wins, not wounds. So when you judge your reality against someone else's curated moment, you're playing a losing game. You start basing your value on someone else's version of success, and that's a fast road to self-destruction. It goes deeper than just distraction. Comparison weakens your momentum. Instead of waking up thinking about your vision, your mission, your daily grind, you're caught up thinking about someone else's next move. That energy could have gone into your craft, your discipline, your evolution, but it got lost in watching. That's why it kills progress, because it makes you stop moving with intention. It shifts your drive from internal to external. Now you're chasing approval. You're reacting, not creating. You're performing, not building. When you compare, you start playing defense in your own life. You stop being the one who sets the tempo. You start second guessing your decisions, your timing, your uniqueness. That hesitation stacks up. That loss of self-trust becomes a wall between you and your goals. You spend your energy adjusting to what others are doing, not realizing they are probably doing the same thing, caught in the same cycle. Nobody wins in that loop. The truth is, your timeline is yours for a reason. Your pace, your setbacks, your growth, it's all specific to you. And that's the power. No one else can replicate your story. No one else can take your lane unless you step out of it. So when you compare, you're not just disrespecting your journey, you're abandoning it. Real progress comes from being locked in, eyes on your own path, energy on your own elevation. It's about creating something that's real for you, not chasing something that was never meant for you in the first place. The more you focus on you, the less the outside noise matters. And the less you compare, the more you grow. On your own terms, in your own time. Culture validation is one of the most addictive forces in the world. The desire to be seen, approved, and applauded drives people to do things that aren't even aligned with who they are. It starts small. Maybe you get a few compliments for how you dressed one day or how you spoke in a room, and it feels good. You feel noticed, you feel important, but over time that feeling becomes a need. You start performing for approval instead of living for truth. You start doing things to be liked, not because they're real to you. That's where people get lost. When you chase validation, you become a slave to opinions. You base your value on how others react to you. If they're clapping, you feel like you're winning. If they're silent, you feel like you're failing. That's a dangerous position to live from, always looking outward to feel complete. The problem is, opinions change, people change, the applause fades, and if your worth is built on those shaky foundations, you'll collapse with them. So self-mastery is the opposite. It's internal. It's rooted in knowing who you are, what you stand for, and why you move the way you move. It means you don't need a crowd to feel confident. You don't need 100 likes to feel loved. You don't need someone else's approval to know your value. You validate yourself through your actions, your discipline, your progress, and your principles. When you know yourself, you stop explaining yourself. You stop proving anything to anyone. You just show up, do the work, and let your presence speak. The ones who master themselves don't move emotionally. They don't get caught up in how people feel about them because they've already done the work to feel solid within. They operate from clarity, not ego. They build their life brick by brick, not for applause, but because it's part of their mission. They know validation is temporary, but legacy is forever. That's the shift, moving from chasing moments to building meaning. People who need validation are easily controlled. All someone has to do is give or withhold attention and they can guide your choices. But when you've mastered yourself, that power doesn't exist anymore. No one can dangle acceptance in front of you like a reward. You're not looking for a seat at anyone's table. You're building your own. You respect others, but you don't depend on them to feel whole. Self-mastery is a daily decision. It's choosing purpose over popularity. It's waking up and doing the work even when no one's watching. It's listening to your inner voice more than the noise around you. And that inner voice gets louder when you start trusting it, when you start acting on it. The more you align with your truth, the less validation you need. You're not moved by likes, trends, or applause. You're moved by growth, by peace, by authenticity. Everything you do costs energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your focus, your time, and just like money, energy is limited. You can spend it wisely and invest it in things that bring returns, or you can waste it and feel drained with nothing to show for it. The way you choose to use your energy determines what your life looks like, but too often people spend more energy watching others than working on themselves. They gossip, they criticize, they overthink, they scroll endlessly, and they get caught up in things that don't push them forward. That's energy lost, that's spiritual debt. When you're constantly reacting to what others are doing, whether it's success, failure, drama, or lifestyle, you're handing out pieces of your power. Every time you give attention to things that don't align with your goals, you lower your own vibration. You start leaking energy through conversations that don't serve you, thoughts that aren't yours, and distractions that keep you stuck. That's like earning money and spending it all on things that don't bring value. You feel busy, but you're not building. You feel tired, but you're not progressing. That kind of energy drain is invisible, but it's real. It affects your mood, your clarity, your momentum. Focusing your energy is a discipline. It means becoming aware of where your attention goes and deciding if it's worth the cost. You have to protect your peace like it's money in the bank. You can't keep lending your mind to negativity, comparison, or pointless debates and expect to have energy left for your dreams. People waste whole weeks arguing about things that won't matter in a year. They carry emotions that weigh them down, replay conversations in their heads, and let small issues steal big chunks of their day. That's an expensive habit. Your energy should be directed toward your purpose, your healing, your elevation. Every minute you spend on growth pays off. The more you invest in your craft, your mindset, and your health, the richer you become. Not just in money, but in clarity, peace, and fulfillment. High energy people move different. They don't entertain low vibration nonsense. They don't chase every argument. They don't seek validation from empty sources. Their energy is too valuable to waste. People forget that energy isn't just about how hyped or motivated you feel. It's about alignment. It's about focus. It's about where you place your effort and intention. Even when you're tired physically, being in alignment with your path will keep you going. But if your energy is scattered, even a full night's sleep won't bring you peace. That's why it matters how you spend it, who you give it to, what you think about, and what you focus on. You get to choose every day, spend your energy or invest it. Let it get drained or let it build. You don't need to control everything around you. Just protect your energy and direct it toward what really matters. Discipline is the foundation that separates those who want it from those who live it. Talent might give you a head start and motivation might give you a push, but without discipline, nothing sticks. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's showing up on the days when there's no spotlight, no applause, no hype, just you and the work. That's where greatness is born. Not in the moments of recognition, but in the quiet, repetitive, sometimes boring grind that most people avoid. The problem is, many people chase results without respecting the process. They want the outcome, but they don't want the routine. They want the reward, but they avoid the responsibility. That's why they stay stuck. They move when they feel good, but slow down when it gets uncomfortable. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It's not emotional. It's rooted in commitment. It's the choice to keep pushing, keep building, keep improving no matter what the outside world looks like. A legacy isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, day after day, year after year, stacking habits, choices, and moments to shape your future. Discipline is what allows you to stay locked in when distractions are calling. It's what keeps you grounded when everyone else is chasing shortcuts. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to post every move. You just need to be relentless in your pursuit, quiet in your work, and intentional with your time. Most people confuse discipline with restriction. They think it means saying no to fun or living like a robot, but real discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret, from guilt, from the chaos of living without structure. It gives you power over your own life. When you master your routine, you start to see results. When you start seeing results, your confidence builds. And when your confidence builds, your vision expands. That's how discipline creates momentum. There will always be distractions, people pulling you off course, opportunities that look good but don't align, temptations that promise quick satisfaction but lead to long-term emptiness. Discipline helps you see through that. It gives you clarity. It keeps your eyes on the bigger picture. It's not about perfection. It's about staying committed through imperfection. It's knowing that every small step matters, even when progress feels slow. Legacy isn't about just being remembered. It's about leaving something solid behind. It's about impact. And impact only comes when the work is done with purpose and consistency. Discipline is how that impact is built. It's the quiet force that drives every meaningful achievement. It's what separates those who start from those who finish. Every time you choose discipline, you're choosing to honor your potential. You're building something that lasts beyond the moment, something that echoes when you're gone. No one else can walk your journey. That path you're on, with all its struggles, setbacks, and moments of clarity, is designed for you and only you. Doesn't matter how similar someone's life may look from the outside, they don't carry your vision, your passion, or your pain, and they'll never fully understand the fire that's driving you. That's why comparing your purpose to someone else's progress is a mistake. You weren't meant to follow, you were meant to lead, even if it means leading in silence for a while, building quietly and trusting your pace. Purpose isn't something someone hands you, it's something you uncover. It reveals itself in the process, in the discipline, in the moments you wanted to quit, but didn't. That's when it starts to become clear, but the world will try to distract you. It'll try to make you copy someone else's blueprint, to chase status instead of substance, to run toward comfort instead of calling. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started, why you even care, why it matters. Because once you understand your why, the how becomes a little easier to fight through. Walking your path means accepting that not everyone will understand you. You might be judged, questioned, even doubted, especially by the ones closest to you. But that can't stop you. Your purpose is not up for debate. It wasn't built for group approval. You don't need permission to rise. You don't need a cheer squad to do the work. You need vision, you need clarity, and most of all, you need to stay rooted in who you are becoming. There's no map for this, no shortcut, no guaranteed outcome. That's the beauty and the burden of purpose. Is unpredictable, but it's yours. The more you trust it, the more it begins to open doors that weren't even visible before. But trust takes patience, it takes risk. It takes walking through some dark seasons with faith that there's something on the other side worth reaching. Some people quit in those seasons, don't get distracted. But the ones who stay true to their path, no matter how long it takes, end up creating something that can't be taken away. Impact, legacy, fulfillment. Other people might get there faster. They might get louder recognition or easier wins. But your timing is divine. Your process is specific. What you're building might take longer, but it'll be deeper, stronger, more rooted. It won't fall apart at the first sign of pressure because it was built on foundation, not on likes, not on trends, not on shortcuts. I have to respect your journey enough not to rush it. You have to honor your purpose enough to protect it from distractions. Not everyone will understand what you're doing, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because they weren't called to it, you were. So move with intention. Keep your head down, keep your spirit up, and keep walking, one step at a time. Everything starts from the inside. It's growth, change, peace, clarity, confidence. None of it comes from the outside world. It all begins with your inner state. People spend so much time trying to fix things around them. They chase better environments, new relationships, more money, status, attention, but none of those things mean anything if you haven't done the inner work. You can be surrounded by success and still feel empty. You can have all the recognition and still feel lost. That's because no external win can fix an internal wound. The hardest battles are the ones people don't see. The fight to stay focused when your mind is scattered. The effort to stay grounded when anxiety is rising. The discipline to keep going when your emotions are pulling you in every direction. That's internal work. It's not glamorous. It doesn't get praised, but it's the foundation for everything else. If your mindset is off, your decisions will be off. If your heart is heavy, your actions will reflect that. When your inner world is in chaos, your outer world follows. Self-work isn't just about healing trauma or managing stress. It's also about sharpening your awareness. It's about learning how to respond instead of react. It's about catching your own patterns, the ones that sabotage your progress, drain your energy, or make you repeat the same cycles. And that takes honesty. That takes stillness. It's not easy to look in the mirror and admit where you've been slipping, but that's where the growth begins. You can't master what you won't face. Most people avoid that kind of work. It's easy to blame someone else. It's easy to point fingers or wait for the world to change, but waiting for circumstances to shift is giving away your power. Real strength comes from taking accountability, even for the parts that hurt, even for the pain you didn't cause but still carry, because once you own it, you can move through it, you can process it, release it, and rise above it. The ways doing the work within means checking your ego. It means staying humble enough to admit you don't have it all figured out, but strong enough to keep showing up. It means creating space in your mind for peace, for clarity, for focus, even when life is loud and chaotic. The more you work on yourself, the more unshakable you become. Not because problems disappear, but because you're no longer controlled by them. You stop getting pulled into drama. You stop chasing empty validation. You stop fearing silence. You learn to trust your instincts. You create your own peace. That kind of strength doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from internal alignment. And when your inner world is right, your outer world starts to fall into place. You stop reacting. You start leading. You move with intention. You build from within, because you know that nothing out there can truly break you if you've already done the work inside. At the end of the day, it's simple. Your life is yours to build. Not to compare, not to explain, and definitely not to waste watching someone else live theirs. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's survival, it's power, it's peace. When you lock in on your growth, your discipline, your energy, your purpose, you begin to move different. You stop chasing and start attracting. You start reacting and start creating. That's when everything starts to shift. You don't need the crowd. You don't need their pace. You don't need their approval. You need focus. You need patience. You need to stay committed to becoming the person you were built to be. Even when no one's watching, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's slow. Because in the end, legacy isn't loud. It's built in silence. It's built in the moments you choose yourself over distractions. And every time you make that choice, you get closer to your truth. So let them talk, let them shine, let them post. You keep building. Focus on yourself, the rest will follow.